Okay.
Of the stove. Install those inside the bottom of the stove. Probably it's usually I'm all see a lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
But it's dangerous and it's dirty.
And then I run all the parts like that on.
Yeah. We're all on. Let's go, Jeb. Yeah. Tens and 12s.
Hello.
Survival Hey everyone, hope everyone is doing well. I'm currently on the way home from the gym, so I'm going to spend most of my time talking about that because school was kind of like how it was yesterday. It was just a stressful day just with all the different stuff that is going on as far as scheduling and still doing instruction and figuring out paperwork, and just all the different things are kind of becoming overwhelming at this point. But because of that, I'm probably going to try to go in this weekend at some point to get way ahead of paperwork, because that's one of the things that's stressing me out, and if I get that done, then I can really start hammering away at different things. I know there's some of it printing wise that I can't do until Monday morning, but I don't really need to worry. I mean, my part's essentially done with it as one of these IEPs, and I have to wait for one of the other people that are going to be involved in it to write their goal, which they've honestly been fantastic as far as being someone to work with and the ease of working with them. So they definitely get lots of not that I was planning on printing anything out today or really over this weekend, but the big thing I do want to get done as far as that goes is progress reports, and that's a big one. If I knock that out, then it'll really help the rest of my day. But that's really about all I wanted to mention with school. Now on to the fun workout that I had today. So I had full snatches, and I think because of that, because of fatigue earlier in the week, and also because of me being lazy with my pulling, my sets up until my top set didn't go very well. I had some misses. I had one random miss at 155 because I was doing a set of 4, and then I had a set of 4 at 165. That went fine, and then I had 2 sets of 3 at 175. In between the 2 sets, I had three misses. I still did all the prescribed reps. Then I had a top set at 190, which I focused in and pulled better, and did the 3 reps successfully with good form. But I definitely feel like I was lazy on the pulling, and that's what I really tried to focus on that 190 set, because I was really frustrated that I was just missing reps that weren't difficult to do. I mean, 175 pounds, I should be able to do that for like a set of 10 without much of a problem. But I think the problem was that I was cutting my extension off early, so it was making my snatch I was extending early and also not fully extending. So it was kind of a combination of 2 things I was doing incorrect. So I fixed that for the most part on my last set, because that went a lot better. But then I had snatch grip push presses after those, and I made the adjustment to the program on those to do a snatch to catch the weight, and then do a full snatch, and then do the push presses, because it was only up to 170 at the most. The snatches were really easy, especially it being a single, and they went tremendously better than the snatches I did before that, because I was just very aggressive with the pull and doing the pull correctly. And it was annoying because I was doing it so much better than what I was doing in my first sets, and I was catching like the top set was with 170, and I caught it as a power and then squatted it down, which is what I should have been doing with my regular snatches. So I really just have to be more aware of that and realize that I still have to pull it like I'm trying to do a power, but to catch it and then squat it down, and know that I'm going to catch it. I should be catching it high because the weight's lighter. And you just learn, you try to get a little better each week. I'm very happy I did my top set with no misses. I can live with some of my warm-up sets having some misses, because they were, you're doing a lot of reps and doing a lot of sets, and sometimes that kind of stuff happens. But definitely just have to continue to get more honed into the technique and more aware of what I'm doing on each rep, and not to just get lazy with it and assume that because it's light that I'm going to do it well, and to really try to be aggressive in all my reps to pull it into the correct spots and to extend as well as I can, so I can get better. Because when you get to heavy weights, if you don't do that stuff, you don't even get close to doing the weight successfully. So just got to be smart about that. But then after I had the snatch work, I had the snatch grip push press work I just mentioned. That was really easy. Like I said, I went up to 170. They were all sets of 5 all the way up, and nothing really too remarkable at those. I then had clean pulls to below the knee, and they kind of varied to below the knee to right at the knee to slightly above the knee, but it was pretty much like at the knee for sets of 3. The same weights as before, 265 for two sets of 3, and the 285 for 2 sets of 3. On the last rep of the 265, 2 sets of 3, and of the last time I did 285 on the last rep, I did a pause essentially at the knee for several seconds, and then I did a full rep where I did a pull on the way up. Similar thing to what I've been doing on snatch pulls, and this is the first time I've had to do the partial lift with the clean, so they're really easy. That's the thing, it's like the weight's really light, my back's really strong, so doing that kind of exercise is not very challenging for me at all. Then after I had the clean pulls, or partial clean pulls or whatever, I had back squats up to 350. I had a set of 3 at 325 and a set of 3 at 350. So it was altogether not too difficult to do those sets of squats. I had a couple sets before that I had to do at lighter weights. But I know tomorrow I have to go up to 375 for a set of 3, and I have progressive sets up to that weight. And I also have some clean and jerks that are like at 250 for a triple going up to that. I don't have very much snatch work, and the snatch work, I think it's snatch grip presses, not push presses, so it's lighter than what it was today for the push presses. And I'll probably do muscle snatchers or something with the weight up just to get some more work with it, or just do full snatches, or I don't know. I'll figure out something to do. I probably won't do them out of the rack because they're going to be ridiculously easy, and it's not going to be that taxing to do a couple snatches because it's like 115 or 120 at the most in pounds, so it's not very heavy at all. But tomorrow will be a challenging day as far as the clean and jerks and the squats, and then that will be the end of the second week. So it'll be interesting to see how they push me next week into doing different things. And right now it's just trying to, for me, to get better at the technique each and every time I do it, and try to get less psyche at the stuff and get more consistent. And I feel like I am. I just have to be mentally focused every time I go into the gym and try to get a little better at each lift when I'm doing it, especially with the snatches, because clean jerks have thankfully gone pretty well, but I also have to have that mindset when I'm doing the jerks after the cleans, because the cleans for me pretty much always go well. It's the jerks sometimes get kind of iffy, and just like how the snatches get sometimes iffy. So getting better, at least trying to be. Thankfully it's Friday, and like I said, unfortunately probably have to go to school at some point this weekend to get ahead of paperwork, and hopefully it will make my week next week very easy as far as that end goes. But I know next week is a 3-day week for students because there's conferences on Thursday, and then there is a professional development day on Friday. So I mean, all in all, an easy week for teachers, because obviously we don't have to plan stuff on that Thursday and Friday, just stuff you talk about with parents when they come in. And then Friday it's just kind of, it's directed what we do. I don't really know what we're doing on the PD day yet. I'm sure they'll tell us in that morning or on Thursday night or whatever, but I don't know. Next week will be nice. Full weeks are always a bit tougher than when we have a partial week, even if we're still doing school stuff. So trying to get moving into the year better and better, and trying to realize, I just had a conversation with a teacher after school, is that she was kind of reminiscing about the students she had last year, and I remember her, and she was obviously remembered it too, but we kind of, at the beginning of the year, you get biased towards the students you had at the end of the year, the previous year, because those were students that were buying into what you were doing and had a full year of going into your routines and listening to you and developing and doing all that stuff. So by the end of the year, they were doing it for the most part, or you knew how to work with those students to a higher degree. And for this point of the year, you're still trying to figure that stuff out. Students are still trying to develop those routines and buy into what you're doing and all that stuff. So it's just rougher at the beginning of the year than as you go, and you kind of get build up a tolerance to it as well. But I guess you got a little mix of school, lifting, and more school stuff after. I'm gonna wrap up this video here. I'm gonna go get caught up, I should say, on editing all my videos, record a podcast, do all that good stuff. If you ever are interested in listening to me talk about different things or elaborate more on school and kind of more of a holistic type thing, I do try to do a podcast once a week about school and life and politics sometimes, kind of a lot of the stuff I talk about on here, but I often will sit down and think about it a little bit more, and I also think a little bit better because it's just a voice part. I'm not worried about the video aspect of it. So if you listen to all these videos, then you probably get a lot of the same stuff. But if you do happen to want more, if you look up Jim the Third on any podcast platform, I should pop up. It's a picture of me doing a snatch. I think it's the same thumbnail I use, or the profile picture I use for everything. And yeah, that's really about it. But hope you're all having a great Friday or whatever day you're watching this, and I'll talk to you all in the next video. Peace.